Hi guys, it's Katrina here. I thought I would make a video going over how I use the daily chart versus the weekly chart versus the monthly chart to find supports and resistances, but this one is mainly about supports. And Facebook being so bearish today was like a great example. So I'm going to use the Facebook chart to show you how I'm trying to find supports for it on the daily, the weekly, and the monthly. First of all, I'm a swing trader, so the daily chart rules all to me. It's the most important chart. The close of the daily is the most important to me too. I don't care about pre-market. I don't care about after hours. Where it's at. I care about where it closes on the daily chart. Where does it close based off of supports and resistances to tell if it's bullish or bearish. And Facebook, right now is actually closed below its it's daily 200 EMA. That's the green line on my chart. It like I've said before, the 200 EMA, that's the bull's last stance. A lot of traders won't touch it under the 200. I'm hearing the hedge funds today were selling it because it's going to be well below its 200. Maybe they didn't like the earnings, and it's, losing its 200. So the 200 EMAs, is very important. I always use it as an example of like it's usually a buy on a really good stock like Facebook or Apple or whatever. And as you can see here, Facebook has held it. Like the past week and a half, it's held it on the close. But today it closed below. Now, if it regains that 200 EMA tomorrow, like that's bullish. Like it can lose a support. And if it regains it the next day, I always say that's bullish. So right now the 200 EMA is at 324. So if it can regain that tomorrow, that would be bullish. Otherwise, it lost it today. And if you look at the MACD, the MACD is like almost crossing. It's like touching almost, well below the center line. So that's, bearish momentum. Look at the stochastics. Stochastics is racing down. That doesn't show me any kind of bottoming yet. It could easily, bounce off this 20 line, and that would be bullish, or it could break it, and that'd be bearish. So that's what I'm watching for on the stochastics. Otherwise, I have no other supports underneath this 200 EMA except the psychological 300. Like I went ahead and put that on there. Like, any kind of round number, 100, 200, 300, like those are psychological like supports or resistances. But otherwise, I have no other like EMAs under here. So what do? I go to the weekly to find, some support. And right now, it looks like it's right around the weekly 50 EMA. And it looks like it's right below it. So the 50 EMA is at 316.50. So 316s, and we close at 315.81. Anyways, this is the weekly chart. So the weekly chart, doesn't truly matter until Friday close, the end of the week. Just like the close of the daily is important, the close of the weekly is important. Where did it close for the week? So really, like, you can see where the support is, but where it closes is most important. Like, does it close below this 50 EMA by Friday, or does it close above it? If it closes above it, like that's more bullish. It's still holding that, weekly 50 EMA. Look, it touched it here, almost touched it here, held it. The lower Bollinger Band is pointing down. It's not a good sign, but it could easily like flatten out here. So we'll see. I don't know how bearish Facebook is yet, but anyway, I only have this 300, psychological support. kind of goes along with all this over here, how this, when it finally, Facebook, like, look like consolidate, finally broke out, after the 300 psychological resistance. But now, remember, so I said on the daily, we were around the 200 EMA, right? We're around the 200 EMA. Well, guess what? Now, on the weekly, we're around the 50 EMA. So that's like one of the secrets of using the 13, the 50, and the 200 EMA, because they kind of, are just like pennies to dollars apart from each, like the daily from the weekly from the monthly. So if I go to the monthly, look at the monthly where we're at. The monthly, we're right at the monthly 13 EMA. So on the daily, we were around the 200 EMA. On the weekly, we were around the weekly 50 EMA. And then on the monthly, we were around the 13 EMA. So that's like one of the secrets of using the 13, the 50, and the 200. You can kind of tell where you're at, because these EMAs are, kind of like pennies to dollars apart, barely apart. So anyways, I looked at, we're right at the 13 EMA. It looks like we even touched it. 13 EMAs, monthly 13 EMAs, 311s. Like that has held like this whole time. The last time it broke was back here during the COVID crash. Like that's how bearish, like if you break the 13 EMA, like that's bearish. And if you break that 13 EMA, you're going down to the, the monthly mid-Bollinger Band, which is, very strong support. The monthly like supports and resistances, those are very strong. They're stronger than the weekly. They're stronger than a daily. So if we were to lose this, monthly 13 EMA, now the month ends this Friday. So I will be watching for a close below the monthly 13 EMA of 311s, the weekly 50 EMA, which would be the close on Friday, of 316s, and then the daily I'd be looking at a close above or below this daily 200 of 324s, like that, like eventually close above that, ASAP anytime soon, maybe by Friday, I don't know. But really watching the weekly and the monthly, because like it has never it's never lost the monthly 13 EMA, except for the COVID crash, and well before that, but I'm not going that far back. So that would be interesting. Will it lose this monthly 13 EMA by Friday? I don't know. We'll see. I always say it's like, once a stock starts losing its monthly supports, like that's bearish. Like BABA lost like the 13 EMA, the mid-Bollinger Band, like everything. Like, and you saw how bearish it got. So I don't know how bearish Facebook will get. I really don't know. So, but that's how you can use the daily, the weekly, and the monthly, to find support. I rarely try to catch a falling knife. I don't catch a lot of, and because of that, I don't catch bottoms. I hardly catch bottoms. I really wait for confirmation that the stock's, going up. And, based off of everything I see right now, the lower Bollinger Band pointing down, the MACD almost touching, it could cross. It might not, it could touch and go. I don't know yet. And then the stochastics, I got to wait for that to curl. Just put a bottom in. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of show you how I would look at Facebook on the, using the daily, the weekly, and the monthly to find some supports. And like it could get really bearish here. I don't know yet. Could easily gain this 200 tomorrow. I don't know. So yeah, I hope this helped you guys out. If you have any questions, feel free to, reply to any of my tweets, or, I appreciate you following me on Twitter, and I appreciate any of you guys that have subscribed to my YouTube channel. I did post that in my Twitter bio, so you can go straight there if you want to see some of these videos. But yeah, so this was all about supports, and then I'll make a video going over resistances on how I use the daily, the weekly, and the monthly to find resistances too. But yeah, I hope this helps you guys out, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.